Well, I'm probably going to be dating myself a little bit, but when I think about Mitsubishi Eclipse, I think about those cool sporty vehicles from the 90s. Make no mistake, this one is completely different class of the vehicle. It doesn't share any of the components with the mentioned 90s vehicles, and it's a different category. It is a sport utility, and today I'm going to take you on a complete tour of this 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross that I found at Volvo Cars of Fort Myers in their pre-owned inventory. And since it's the first Mitsubishi on my channel, this is pretty cool. Now guys, if this is the first time we meet, my name is Matt, and here at Matt the Car Guy, I do 2 car reviews every single week. So if you like automotive content, check out the rest of my channel, consider subscribing. Also, if you like that video, don't forget to give me the like. Now let's go back to this. So the Eclipse Cross is not brand new to Mitsubishi lineup. As a matter of fact, it's been around since 2017, but it was just refreshed for 2022 model year. So let's take a look at what we see over here. It does have quite large hood for the class of this vehicle. Eclipse Cross spelled out right on top of here. By the way, this is optional. You pay $150 to get it done. As far as the grille, it does have like 3-tier grille. The top portion right here, this is all closed off. This is this matte black Mitsubishi logo. This is open, allowing for a lot of air to get through it, as well as the same thing at the bottom. You do have the front view camera on this SEL trim, and I like this light setup. Now, this is the daytime running light / turn signal, and then you have the fully LED lights, the headlights, the high beams, and it's nicely encased in this chrome trim. So very good looking vehicle. Now, if you're wondering what powers up this thing, let's pop the hood open. Let's see what it is. Take a peek underneath the hood here, and what we have is 1.5 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged intercooled engine, 152 horsepower, 184 as far as the torque. Now, it's made it to a CVT transmission, so you know already you're not going to beat any records on it. Matter of fact, 0 to 60 in about 8.6 seconds. Let's check out the rest of this hood compartment. So you can see this strut brace over here in the front for, I guess, better rigidity and better handling on this vehicle. And then you do have some noise insulation, and of course you do have a prop stick, which, you know, I don't like. Side profile definitely very unique and cool looking, and especially if you look at the back, that puts that sport in the sport utility vehicle. Well, let's check it out, starting right here in the front. As far as the wheel and tire setups, you have the standard 18-inch rims on the SEL trim, and they're two-tone, so you have black, you have silver, 225/55, that's the size of the tire that you have on it. And then Mitsubishi decided to put this black cladding all around this vehicle. As far as the mirror setup, you can see that the top of it is the same as the rest of this vehicle as far as the color. And then you have the turn signal indicator, and then you have the blind spot assist on the inside as well. Now, if you want to open this vehicle and you have the key somewhere on you, all you have to do is press this button. As you can see, it does have the power folding mirror, so they unfold and the vehicle opens up. And around here you have this chrome trim, not the favorite one. I wish they kind of blacked it out, but they do have the black pillars, and this roofline slightly slopes down, but not bad. So I wonder how much room we're gonna have inside of here. I also like those grooves that you have inside, and it kind of widens up towards the back, make it for a little bit more masculine and sporter look. So let's check out the rest of it. Definitely sporty look in the back of this vehicle that puts the sport in the sport utility, as I mentioned before. Check this out. It does have the shark fin antenna, kind of a long gate spoiler with a third brake light in it, and I like these lights. fully LED light setup. You do have the exposed wiper. The glass slopes really nicely, kind of like in the sport vehicle. Mitsubishi Eclipse Sport SEL, that's all in chrome. I kind of wish they made it in black to kind of match what's going on in the front of this vehicle. And scrolling down, you have some kind of a sporty rear bumper over here with some trim pieces, reflector lights. You do have the rear view camera over here. Let's pop this open. Not a power gate, but opens up fairly nice and tall. I fit underneath here, and it's got tons of room. Let me show it to you. It does have quite a bit of room behind those seats. Now, if that wasn't enough, you can actually drop them, and you're gonna have quite a bit more. That's probably the most that I've seen in a small compact SUV. Now, keep in mind, this is smaller than like a Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4, but the roominess is probably very similar. Underneath this floor right here, you have the spare tire, this is the temporary use tire, and the tools to remove it with. And this is pretty much it. There's nothing really else going on in the back. I'm surprisingly comfortable inside of this vehicle. I thought that roofline's definitely gonna affect the headroom, but it doesn't. I have about 2 more inches above my head, 6 feet tall, so fit comfortably in here. My knees are not touching the front seat, although they're pretty close, but it is a compact SUV, so you can't really expect too much. As far as the shoulder room for 2 people is definitely enough. The third one would definitely have to squeeze in. And let's check out this rest of this interior together. Starting with the rear door panel over here, let's see what we have. I gotta tell you, first of all, I thought getting into this vehicle that I'm gonna find tons of cheap plastic, and I'm pleasantly surprised that a lot of these components are kind of the softer plastic material, more quality wise, and then it feels actually pretty darn good. So what do we have in here? We have the regular door handle, and of course you have the window controls, speaker cover, and storage for maybe a bottle of water or something. And then looking inside of this, the SEL comes standard with leather, so you can see the nicely leather wrapped seats. Now you can see the seats also, the back seats recline, so you can adjust the position on it to make sure that you are comfortable in it. And then you have this middle console that opens up, and what do we have in here? Cup holders. Now, in the middle of it, I wish I found the air vents inside. There's no air vents for the rear passengers, but you do have the 12-volt outlet right at the bottom of it. This is like the cigarette style outlet. And the other thing that you have is the seat back pockets. And this is it. Let's check out the front door and let's hear how it sounds when you close it. Okay. It's all right. It's not the greatest, not the worst, kind of right in the middle of the pack. Let's see the door panel over here. So you do have your mirror controls, you have the door handle, of course. Pretty cool trim. We've seen that in the back. Kind of this 3D carbon fiber looking, and then you have your window and mirror controls. A lot more storage down in the bottom of this door, and then again you have the speaker cover. Let's move over here. Let's check out the seats. Now the seats are more profiled than the back seats, of course. Leather wrapped, pretty cool looking. You do have power seats on both driver and passenger side for this SEL trim. And then on the left hand side of the steering wheel, you have the traction control, you have the front collision assist, and you have traction control and the lane keep assist off. And the steering wheel, okay, it is tilt, not telescoping over here. And let's check out the rest of it. Let's take a peek of the interior of this 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. I have to tell you, I didn't know what to expect when I was getting in this vehicle. Mitsubishi has kind of came a long way, came from making really nice vehicles, so kind of making the rental car vehicles, and I didn't know what it was. But if you look at the materials you use, like this is all the injection plastic molding, so this is nice and soft. Now you have this trim that goes across the entire vehicle, so eye-pleasing design. You have this 8-inch screen, not the biggest one, but again, this is in line with a lot of the competitors, and a decent looking steering wheel. So let's check out what we have here. So on the steering wheel itself, you do have the big Mitsubishi logo. It's leather wrapped. It's decent to the touch. It does have some piano black kind of to break it up a little bit, and the chrome trim pieces. So on the left hand side, you basically have your volume modes for the radio. You can turn on your rear view camera, which you're going to take a look in just a second, and then you have your voice control as well as you have your phone controls. Cruise control, this one doesn't have the package with the adaptive cruise control, but it is available. And what's pretty cool too, you have the pedal shifters, but not only pedal shifters, but these pedal shifters are column mounted, so not steering wheel mounted, so it stay in place when you turn the steering wheel. I know that they went through different lengths to make this vehicle look sporty. They just forget about the powertrain, I think, but we're gonna check it out, see how it drives. So regular, you know, the light controls and the turn signals, etc. And then you have rather traditional instrument cluster on the right hand side. You have the speedometer left hand side, you have a tachometer, and then this little screen is customizable. And let's see what we have in here. Okay, so trip A, trip B, settings, to service. Actually, I should say that this tiny little 2-inch screen is customizable. And you know what? Why would they put the buttons to customize it right here where it's completely not in the right place? I mean, I would like to have them on the steering wheel so I don't have to look for them. This is kind of a weird setup. All right, so let's move on to the infotainment system. And we have this camera that's 360, so that's a plus. The bad part about it is that the quality is pretty darn bad. It's not a good quality at all. The screen is small, so yeah, it does have the technology, but there's definitely room for improvement over here. Now, if I put it in reverse, it gives me the active trajectory lines, so that's good. It also gives you the ones in the front, but it's hard to see because the quality is just not very good. So let's see what else do we have in this instrument cluster. All right, so we have the home button over here. First of all, you do have the volume knob and the tune knob, and you know, a few buttons at the bottom, which I like. You know, I think it replaced this awkward looking trackpad that the previous Mitsubishi Eclipse Sport had. And what do we have? Multimedia, phone settings, navigation, which is, by the way, standard. Kind of an old school looking navigation. I haven't really played around with that a lot. Hopefully it's a good system. Now, as far as the media, you have different sources. So you have the AM, FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth audio, USB video. So you can check these out. USB video. It's not very safe to drive a vehicle and watch movies. No devices connected. Connect to nearby devices. We're going to cancel that. We're not going to connect, but you can connect your phone with this. Go back to apps. Okay, you can't see anything, but the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, they are wired, so you'd have to connect the phone in order to get them to work. And that's pretty much it. And so the screen, again, I mean, the size of it doesn't bother me as much as the quality of the display, but we're looking at this base model, so let's give it a break a little bit. Okay, down underneath here you have vents, hazard lights, and then you have the automatic climate control. So it is a dual zone climate control, so you can have different settings for driver and passenger. You can turn it off completely if you'd like to. And we're going to turn that on, as a matter of fact, because it is pretty hot outside. So you have different buttons to control different settings for the climate control. And then right underneath here, we're going to take it off of auto and reduce the fan speed. You have the eco mode. I hope this is not where you change the drive mode. Yeah, it is. That's the only mode that's available other than regular drive mode. You have a heated steering wheel, and you have 2 USB ports, a little bit more storage, heated front seats, and then you have the electronic parking brake and the auto hold for your brakes, and a regular gear shifter. So behind here you have cup holders and more storage in the center console. So I have to tell you, it's not really bad, but there's placements of some of those buttons are just bizarre. I know that probably once you turn the steering wheel heated on, you're not gonna just play around with it. Eco drive mode. You can't see it from here. You kind of have to like look behind it to see what it is. So the placements of these buttons could definitely be better. Now, moving up here, regular mirror, nothing too crazy about it. Now this one has the incandescent lights. There is an upgrade available for the LED if you'd like to, and no sunroof. However, the panoramic sunroof is available as part of the package. So this is it. Let's just see if we have the mirrors, illuminated mirrors on the driver and passenger side, so that's decent. Let's take it for a spin. Vehicle is running. I'm about to take it for a spin. A couple of things to check out. First of all, let's check out the different models that are available now. The Mitsubishi has already updated their website, so it's 2023 model year, but I believe they are the same as for 2022, and there's really no major differences. So we have ES, LE. So ES is the base one, starts at 25,795. Then LE starts at 27,045. SE at 28,045, and the SEL, which is the one that I'm sitting in right now, is 29,495. So it's just under $30,000. It's fairly pricey if you ask me, especially for a smaller vehicle, but you know, it's not bad. Let's check it out and see how it drives. Okay, so I don't have an off-road trail, neither this vehicle was made for an off-road, but I am on grass, so I want to see how this vehicle handles off the beaten path a little bit. You can definitely hear the engine. That's one thing that's noticeable, and it is a small motor, so it should be a lot quieter if you ask me. Now find a little parking lot over here and see if I can do a 360, or it is a small vehicle. Do you think I can do a 360 right here on this road? Let's get to the very side of it, turn the steering wheel all the way. Oh, and that like almost made it. So 360, fairly decent. It's 174 inches long as far as the length of this vehicle. And let's see how it merges in traffic. Actually, I'm surprised because I thought, reading the stats on it, that it's going to be completely lacking any type of performance, any type of acceleration. But for everyday driving, this is decent. I mean, we got it up to 50. Of course, it wasn't a test of 0 to 60 or anything like this, but you know, kind of gave me an idea of what I'm dealing with as far as this vehicle is concerned. So do a 360 again. We're going to do a U-turn and see if I have the ability to accelerate. One of the things concerning about a lot of these vehicles is the visibility, and the visibility is not bad. Once you set up this mirror right, you have enough visibility, unless of course somebody would be sitting in that middle seat, but that would be the problem for pretty much everything. The side view is good, the windshield is fairly decent. Now it does transfer a lot of this road noise from the road to the interior of this vehicle, so that would be one thing to pay attention to if you're looking at one. And you know, the acceleration, which is the quick, like from the go acceleration test, and it wasn't too bad. I'm gonna hope to see if we can do like that 0 to maybe 40 or 50 and see how that's gonna be to measure of how these vehicles would be able to merge in traffic. But overall, for everyday use, I see this vehicle pretty decent. You have the ability right here to stop over here and do like the full-on acceleration. We can definitely feel this engine working. We're still didn't get to 60 yet, 60 right now. So definitely a long way to get you from 0 to 60. But then again, you're not buying a vehicle like this to race and for an everyday usage and merging into traffic. Yeah, I still would like it to be a little bit faster, but nevertheless, for everyday driving, it would be substantial. So let's sum it all up before we take it over to the dealership. And I just hit the brake a little bit heavier. It dove a little bit, but nothing crazy. Overall, it is a fairly positive vehicle, to me at least. I mean, I wasn't expecting that, especially after my last rental was the Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, and that was just horrible. I don't know why they even make them. This was this Mitsubishi version of the Outlander, and this thing was not what I was expecting. So that's why I'm kind of biased going into this review. So there's a few things that I like about this vehicle. I like the shape of it, I like the roominess, I like that it comes standard, like with this LED light setup, and the looks of it. So that's the things that I like. The things that I would definitely change on it is I would give it a little bit more power, maybe a hybrid version of it, something that's going to be a little bit more peppy than this one. I'd also upgrade the technology on it and put a better quality camera, better resolution screen, and definitely a placement of some of those buttons that we've seen, especially to change the features on the instrument cluster, and where you put that in the eco mode, that's somewhere that is definitely out of sight, basically. So that's what I would change. Also, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I like how Mitsubishi went after this sporty look of this vehicle, but definitely didn't match the engine to go with it. Now, I didn't have a chance to check out those pedal shifters, but it's a CVT transmission. It's in basically a virtual gear, so how good or how bad can it be? Maybe I'll have a stretch of road to check that out in just a little bit. I have to put it in the manual mode. In order to do that, I have to shift the gear shifter to the left, and then I'm in gear 1. Let's go. Okay, let's check this out. Now, I'd rather drive it with the regular transmission that it has. That simulated gears are really good on some of the vehicles. For example, on the Subaru the Crosstrek that I did it, they had the simulated gears, and you actually like almost felt like the transmission actually shifted gears. This one really do anything other than showing to you on the screen. So definitely not the greatest. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun making this video. I hope you had fun watching it. If you learned something, that's awesome. If you like watching automotive content, check out the rest of my channel. Consider subscribing. Also ring that bell so you don't miss any of these videos. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.